English Zone Podcast.
Your place to practice English.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm really glad you're here today because we're going to talk about something that almost everyone struggles with at some point in their life, feeling unmotivated. You know that feeling, right? You wake up, maybe you have plans for the day, maybe you even have important things to do, but you just don't feel like doing anything. You tell yourself, I'll start later, and then later becomes never. And instead of doing what you planned, you end up scrolling on your phone, watching videos, or just doing things that don't really matter. And at the end of the day, you feel frustrated, maybe even disappointed in yourself. So if you've ever felt like that, don't worry, you're not alone. In today's episode, we're going to break this down step by step. We're going to talk about why this happens, what's really going on in your mind, and most importantly, how you can fix it in a simple and realistic way. Because the goal is not just to understand the problem, the goal is to actually change something in your daily life.
Yeah, and I think this is something very important to talk about. Because a lot of people misunderstand this feeling when you feel unmotivated. The first thing you usually think is, I'm lazy. But that's not always true. Sometimes, what you're really feeling is mental exhaustion. You're not physically tired, but your mind is overwhelmed. You've been thinking too much, worrying too much, or dealing with too many things at the same time. And when your mind feels like that, it doesn't want to do more work. It wants rest. Another thing is that sometimes you feel unmotivated because everything feels too big. You have many responsibilities, many tasks, and you don't know where to begin. So instead of starting, you just avoid everything, and honestly, that's a very human reaction. Your brain is trying to protect you from stress. So it chooses the easiest option, doing something simple, something comfortable, something that doesn't require effort. So being unmotivated is not just a bad habit, it's actually a signal. It's your mind telling you that something needs attention.
Exactly. So let's go deeper into the main reasons why people feel unmotivated, because once you understand the cause, it becomes much easier to fix it. The first reason is lack of clarity. If you don't have a clear goal, your brain doesn't know where to go. It's like trying to travel without a destination. You might say, I want to be successful, or I want to improve my life. But those ideas are too general. Your brain needs something specific, something concrete. The second reason is distractions, and this is probably one of the biggest problems today. We are constantly surrounded by things that steal our attention. Social media, notifications, videos, messages, all of these things are designed to keep you distracted. And the problem is that they give you instant gratification. You feel good immediately without effort. So your brain starts to prefer those activities over anything that requires work. The third reason is feeling overwhelmed. When a task feels too big, your brain sees it as a threat. It thinks, this is too difficult, I can't do this. And the natural reaction is to avoid it. And finally, there's the issue of low energy. Sometimes the problem is not motivation. It's your physical and mental state. If you didn't sleep well, if you're stressed, or if you're emotionally tired, it becomes very difficult to focus or take action.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think this is where many people get stuck, because they understand the problem, but they don't know what to do next. So let's focus on simple things that you can actually start doing today. The first and most important one is to start small. When something feels too big, don't try to do everything at once. That's a mistake a lot of people make. They wait for the perfect moment, or they try to do too much in one day. Instead, just take one small step. If you need to study, don't say, I will study for 3 hours. Just say, I will study for 10 minutes. That's it. Because starting is the hardest part. Once you begin, your brain starts to adapt, and continuing becomes much easier. Another powerful strategy is to reduce distractions. This might sound simple, but it's very effective. If your phone is next to you, you will check it. If notifications are on, they will interrupt you, so create a space where it's easier to focus. Put your phone away, turn off notifications, and give yourself a chance to concentrate.
Yes, and I want to expand on that with a few more ideas that can really make a difference. One of them is building a routine. Motivation is not something you can rely on every day. Some days you feel motivated, some days you don't. That's normal, but a routine helps you stay consistent even when you don't feel like it. When you do something at the same time every day, it becomes automatic. You don't need to think about it, and you don't need motivation to start. Another important idea is managing your energy. A lot of people ignore this, but it's very important. If you're always tired, you won't have the mental strength to focus. So take care of your sleep, your food, and your rest. And finally, this is probably the most important point of the entire episode. Don't wait for motivation. Most people think motivation comes first, and then action. But that's not true. Action comes first, and then motivation follows. So even if you don't feel ready, even if you don't feel motivated, just start. Just do something small. Because once you take action, your brain starts to build momentum.
Yeah, and I really like that idea. Because it changes the way you see motivation. You stop waiting for the perfect feeling. And you start focusing on what you can do right now. And honestly, everyone struggles with this, even people who are very successful, very productive, and very disciplined. They don't feel motivated all the time. The difference is that they understand something important. They don't depend on motivation. They depend on habits, routines, and small actions. So if you're listening to this and you feel unmotivated, just remember, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to take one step.
Exactly. So next time you feel unmotivated, don't see it as a failure. See it as a signal. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Am I tired? Am I overwhelmed? Am I distracted? And then do something about it. Start small. Reduce distractions. Build a routine. Take care of your energy. And most importantly, take action. Because motivation doesn't come first. Action comes first.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We hope it helped you understand your motivation a little better. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to come back for the next episode. And remember, you don't need to feel ready. You just need to start. See you next time.
If you want to continue learning English, follow me for more videos.